Chapter 7. Creating Animations in Flash. In this chapter, you will learn about timeline, layers and frames, creating symbols and instances when an animation is created, creating animations, using the motion guide and masking features in Flash. Introduction. We now know that we can use Adobe Flash CS3 for creating animations. The most fascinating aspect of Flash is to create animations. All the sequences of animations are defined on the timeline with the help of layers and frames. Before learning how to create animations in Flash, let us make ourselves familiar about what is a timeline and what are frames and layers. Timeline. A timeline can be defined as the area where the sequence and timing of all the graphics and different elements in a particular movie are decided. The contents and controls of a given movie are organized by the timeline into layers and frames. Layers. You can consider layers to be transparent sheets which are stacked one over the other on the stage. All the work is organized and managed by the layer by separating the content of a given movie into sizes that can be managed easily. The order of the objects of a movie can also be altered with the help of layers. The graphics that are placed on higher layers will be shown above the graphics present in lower layers. When a new Flash document is opened, you will see that there is just a single layer, but the users can insert as many layers as they want to and organize the contents of their movie. The contents of a layer can also be hidden or shown locked or unlocked. Come, let us further understand the operations in layers in depth. How to add a new layer. There are 3 methods to insert a new layer. You can use any of these methods. Method 1. Go to the layer section of your timeline. There, you will find an option of Insert Layer. Click it. Method 2. Go to Insert. Select Timeline and then click on Layer. Method 3. Go to the layer name and right-click on it. A shortcut menu will appear. Select Insert Layer from this option. Following any of these methods, you will see that a new layer gets added. How to delete a layer. Again, there are 3 methods to delete a layer. You can follow any of these methods. Method 1. Start by selecting the layer that you want to delete. After this, click on Delete Layer button that you will find in the layer section of your timeline. Method 2. The layer can also be deleted by dragging the layer to the Delete Layer button. Method 3. Go to the layer name and right-click on it. You will see that a shortcut menu will come up. Select Delete Layer from this menu. How to rename a layer. If you wish to rename a layer, you just have to double-click on the name of the layer that has to be deleted. After this, type the new name of your choice. How to hide or show a layer. The contents of a layer can be hidden so as to make it easier for the user to work on the other layers. A layer can be hidden by clicking on the I column, which is located at the right of the name of the layer. You will see that a red cross has come up in the I column. This shows that the contents of the layer are no more visible. If you click it again, you will be able to view the contents again. How to lock or unlock a layer? A layer can be locked so that no other changes can be made to the layer. A layer can be locked by clicking on the lock column that is located at the right of the name of the layer. Observe that a lock has come up in the lock column. This is to show that the contents of the layer have been locked and thus cannot be altered. If you want to unlock the layer, you just have to click it once again. How to change the order of the layers? The order of the layers can be changed if you drag the layers to the position of your choice, that is, either above a layer or below it. Graphics that are present in the top layers will be placed over the ones that have been placed in the bottom layers. Have a look at the picture given below. It has been created by placing different objects in different layers. Animation using layers. Class activity. Show the scene of a forest by placing different objects in different layers. Frame. We can define a frame as the basic unit that users can use to define how the object properties will change in order to create an animation. There are many frames in a single animation. An animation is created when many frames are played together in a given sequence. Observe that the frames are shown in the timeline in the form of grid of boxes. We refer to the red marker in the timeline as the playhead. The playhead will go from left to right through the frames in a given timeline in order to display the full animation of a particular movie. The current frame number and the frame rate can be checked from the status bar of the timeline. Frame section of the timeline. There are different types of frames. Let us discuss them. Key frames. The frame in which the user finds repeat. The frame in which the user defines the change in the properties of an object is referred to as the key frame. All the key frames are depicted with the help of a solid dot. Note that the first frame that comes up in the timeline should be the key frame. In between frames. Such types of frames come up in between two key frames. They are shown gray in your timeline. Blank keyframes. Such types of keyframes are the ones which wait for the content to be filled in them. They are depicted in the form of a hollow box in your timeline. Create symbols and instances. An interesting feature of Flash is that once a graphic object has been created, it will reuse that created graphic in the entire document. We can do this if we define the objects as symbols. Let us study about symbols in depth. We can define a symbol as an animation, a graphic object, or a button that is stored as part of a particular movie. We can use the symbol as many times as we want. An advantage of using symbols in Flash is that the size of the Flash file is reduced and thus the Flash animations are downloaded faster. When a symbol is created by the user, it is added to the library automatically. When the users drag a symbol that is created from the library, it creates a copy of the symbol. We refer to this copy of the created symbol as the instance. Note that there can be difference in the color or size of the symbol and its instance. If some changes are made to the symbol, all the instances will be updated on their own. On the other hand, if any instance of a symbol is changed, it will not change the other instances of the symbol. How to create symbols. To create a symbol, follow the steps as given below. Start by selecting an object on the stage that already exists. Click on Modify and then select Convert to Symbol. You will see that a Convert to Symbol dialog box will come up on the screen. Choose a name for the symbol and also select a type for it in the Convert to Symbol dialog box. After this, click on OK. The symbol has now been added to the library. If you wish to open the library, you can go to Window and then click on Library. How to create and modify instances. An instance of a symbol can be created by dragging the symbol from the library panel onto the stage. The instance properties such as the transparency, color, and brightness can be changed. The instance properties can be changed by following the steps given below. Start by selecting the instance on the stage. Go to the Property Inspector and open the Color drop-down list. Choose any one of the following options. Alpha. You can change the property of the instance using this. The level of transparency can be adjusted if you drag the alpha amount slider either up or down. Tint. You can change the color of the instance with the help of Tint. A color can be chosen from the Fill palette, and you can also adjust the amount of tint by dragging the slider. Brightness. The relative brightness or darkness of an instance can be changed by using this. The brightness slider can be dragged up or down to adjust the brightness level. Do you know a shortcut for opening the library panel is to press Ctrl plus L. How to create animations. There are two types of animations that can be created in Flash: frame-by-frame animation, tweened animation. Frame-by-frame animation. In frame-by-frame animation, the user has to change the contents of each frame in order to create an animation. This type of animation is mainly used when complex animations have to be created. To understand the frame-by-frame animation, let us take an example. Follow the steps as given below. Start by selecting the Text tool. Write the text as shown below onto the stage. Now you will have to convert this text into a symbol. To do this, simply press F8. You will see that a Convert to Symbol dialog box has come up on the screen. Give a suitable name to your symbol and click on OK. Your text has now been saved in the form of a symbol. In the timeline window, select frame number 2. Here, you will have to insert a keyframe by clicking on Insert and then selecting Timeline and finally clicking on Keyframe. The color of the text symbol can also be changed by first going to the Property Inspector. There you will find a color drop-down list. Choose Tint option from there. Follow the same steps to add 4 or 5 keyframes. The color of the text symbol of every keyframe should be changed. The timeline will look as shown in the figure below. After you have placed the playhead on frame 1, go to Control and select Play in order to play the movie you have created. You will see that the text has been highlighted in various colors when you play the movie. Tweened animation. In tweened animation, all a user has to do is to define the contents of the first and the last frame of a particular animation. After this, Flash will generate all the frames between the two defined frames on its own. For all the animations in which you have to change the shape or position of an object over time during an animation, you can use the tweened animations. Tweened animations work very fast and have small size. There are 2 types of tweened animations that can be created in Flash: motion tweening, shape tweening. Motion tweening. This type of animation requires the users to define the starting position of a keyframe as well as the ending position. Flash will then on its own fill all the frames that lie between the defined frames and create an animation. An object has to be converted into a symbol so that motion tween can be applied. Given below is an example. Repeat. Given below is an example that makes use of motion tween to make a kite fly upwards. Follow the steps as given below. Start by clicking on frame 1 and draw a kite at the bottom of your stage. Now we will convert the kite into a symbol. To this, you will have to follow the steps as given below. Start by selecting the kite. Go to Modify and choose Convert to Symbol. Give the symbol a name, say Kite. Choose the type to be graphic and then click on OK. After this, select frame 30. To insert a keyframe, press F6. Flash will on its own copy the contents given to it in frame 1 to all the other frames. Click on frame 30. Next, use the selection tool in order to drag the kite to the top from its initial position at the bottom. Now you can click on any frame between frame 2 and frame 29 and then go to the Property Inspector. There you will find a tween drop-down list. Select Motion from this list. You will see that an arrow has come up between the 2 key frames. Also, notice that there is a change in the color of the frames to light blue. This is to indicate motion tweening. Now after selecting frame 1, press Enter and the movie will be played. Shape tweening. Using the shape tweening, the users can convert a shape into another one in an animated manner. It is important to note that an object should never be converted into symbol in shape tweening. Let us understand the concept of shape tweening by taking an example to convert a rectangle into a circle. For this, you will have to follow the steps as given below. Start by clicking on frame 1 and draw a rectangle on your stage. Select frame number 30. Insert a keyframe by pressing F6. On frame 30, you will have to delete the rectangle and draw a circle instead. After you have selected any frame between frame 2 and frame 30, go to the Property Inspector. After this, go to the Tween drop-down menu and then select Shape from there. You will see that an arrow has come up between the two key frames. Also, observe that just like in the case of Motion Tween, here also the color of the frames has changed to light green. This is used to indicate shape tweening. The shape of the object has changed. After you have selected the first frame, press Enter and your movie will be played. Do you know you may import a ready-made picture on the stage by clicking File, Import Options. How to create tweening on separate layers. Motion or shape tweening can also be applied in different layers without having any need to disturb the other elements that are present in the picture. This concept can be better understood by the following example. Let us make a sparrow fly to its nest. You will have to follow the steps as given below for creating motion or shape tweening in separate layers. Start by drawing a nest on layer 1. You can change the name of this layer to Nest. Insert one more layer and rename it as Sparrow. Draw a sparrow in this layer. Convert the sparrow into a symbol. You can do so by simply pressing F8. Select frame 30 on the nest layer. After this, select Insert and click on Timeline. Finally, click on Frame and a new frame will be inserted. You can also insert a frame by pressing F5. Select frame 30 on the sparrow layer. To insert a keyframe, you can press F6. Select frame number 30 on the sparrow layer. Use the selection tool and drag the sparrow to the nest on the stage. After selecting any frame between frame 2 and frame 29, go to the Property Inspector. From the Tween drop-down list that will appear, choose Motion. The movie will be played once you press Enter. As the movie plays, the sparrow will fly to her nest. We can also combine tweening with motion guide and masking to create different attractive animations. Motion guide. You can set a path along which a text block or an object should move using the motion guide. We define the motion path on a layer. Also note that the object which has to be moved along the path will have to be created on a different layer. Motion tweening will be applied on this layer. If you wish to tween an object along a particular path, you will first have to convert that object into a symbol. We can understand the motion guide with the help of an example. Let us move a ball along a path. Follow the steps as given below. Step 1. Start by clicking on frame 1 on layer 1 and draw a ball on the stage. Step 2. Now you will have to convert the ball into a symbol. First, select the ball. Go to Modify and select Convert to Symbol. You can give the name Train to the symbol. The type should be chosen as Graphic. Click OK. Select frame 30 and then insert a keyframe by pressing F6. Step 3. Next, you will have to right-click on any frame between frame number 1 and frame number 30. In the shortcut menu, click on Create Motion Tween. Step 4. A motion guide layer can be added by clicking on the Add Motion Guide button in the timeline. Observe that the layer that has the ball symbol is indented beneath the new layer known as the guide. Layer 1 along with an icon that has a red dotted line. Step 5. Draw a path along which you want the ball to move using the line, pencil, or the pen tool. Step 6. Now click on frame 1 of layer 1. Place the ball symbol on the path you drew. Make sure that the registration point, which is at the center of the symbol, snaps to where the motion guide path starts. Step 7. Again, follow the same steps after you have selected frame number 30 on layer 1, but here the registration point at the center should snap the point where the motion guide path ends. Step 8. After you have selected the first frame, the movie can be played by pressing Enter. Observe that the ball is moving along the path you drew. Masking. If you wish to show only a particular portion of the underlying layer, you can use the masking feature. Masking can be used to create binoculars-like effect such that only a portion of the picture or graphic can be seen lying on the bottom layers. We can understand the concept of masking better with the help of an example. Let us try to reveal the text on the given stage by using the masking feature. Follow the steps as given below. Start by selecting the Text tool. The font properties of the text can be changed using the Property Inspector. Let us change it to Arial Black. Let the size be 50. Select frame 1 of layer 1. You can insert any text on the stage. Let us take this text to be Thank You. Now select frame number 30 of layer 1. Insert frames by pressing F5. Now add a new layer. Name this layer Mask. After you have clicked on the first frame of the mask layer, draw a circle. Note that the circle should be a little bigger than the text you have entered. You will now have to convert the circle into a symbol. This can be done by pressing F8. In the Convert to Symbol dialog box, choose Graphics as the option. After clicking on frame number 30 on the mask layer, insert keyframes by pressing F6. After you have selected frame 30 of the mask layer, use the Selection tool to drag the circle onto the text towards the right. Now, in the mask layer, you will have to right-click on any frame that lies between frame number 2 and frame 29. Go to the shortcut menu and select Create Motion Tween. You will see that an arrow has come up between the two key frames. This arrow has come up on the mask layer to show motion tweening. Now in the last step we will create a mask. This can be done by right-clicking on the mask layer, which is the top layer. After this, you will have to go to the shortcut menu and choose Mask from there. Observe that only some part of the text can be seen now. You can play the movie by pressing Ctrl plus Enter. Class activity. Given below is an image. Answer the questions below after studying the image. Which layer cannot be edited? Count the number of layers in the image. How many are there? At what position is the playhead? Which animation is used in the picture? Summary. We can consider layer to be transparent sheets that lie one over the other on the stage. It is possible to add a new layer, delete a layer that is already there, and also unlock and lock and hide or show the contents that are present in a layer. A frame can be defined as a basic unit where the users can define how the object properties change in an animation. There can be three types of frames: a keyframe, an in-between keyframe, and a blank keyframe. A graphic button that is stored as a part of any movie can be called a symbol. When a copy of a symbol is created on the stage, we call that copy an instance. There can be two types of animations that a user can create in Flash: frame-by-frame animation and tweened animations. When a path is defined such that a text block or an object will move along it is known as the motion path. When only some part of the underlying layer is revealed, it is known as masking.